Hi everyone, today I wanted to cover how to set up a cross-country meet. There's different ways, of course, that everyone does everything, but I'm going to show you how I do it. If you find in this video that you're an experienced timer and you got a better process than me, of course, let me know, but this is something that over the years we've learned little tips and tricks to make things faster. This video primarily, of course, is for those who are not as experienced timing cross-country meets. I'm going to show you some things that'll save you a lot of headaches and problems on race day. Now I'm doing this the day before the meet. Usually I try to set this up a little earlier, but just like everything, there's a little bit of pros and cons with waiting a little later. Like I just now had a coach, actually from the high school I went to, who called me saying that he missed the deadline and has got about 40 kids to add. So I opened up registration and let him add those in. And so now we are ready, hopefully, for the final import. Now, obviously, we know how it goes. Things are going to, change last minute, maybe the day of the race. A kid needs to be added or whatever, and we can handle that. But I want to show you the process from beginning to end on setting up a cross-country meet. And so here, this event is on MileSplit. MileSplit and athletic.net, or if you're timing a high school cross-country meet, that's usually where you're going to pull entries from. Both of those systems, as far as I'm aware, don't have a direct integration like we see here, like create race from account. Like MileSplit, Athletic.net. I wish they did, and maybe they will have it someday, or we can add that in if they do have it now, but I haven't been aware of that. So for now, it is going to be a file-based import. If we ever do get a Athletic.net or MileSplit integration here, it'll work like TFRS, and TFRS, by the way, if you're not familiar with it, is a track and field results reporting system for the NCAA or for college meets. So the software does have a direct integration with that. So if you're timing a college meet, you do have to have the event on TFRS, which of course they should do, the meet director, and then you will have to pull that event in that way. Now, if you are watching this, you're timing a cross-country meet that is a college meet, you can go to, if you're not familiar with it, let's see here, it should be a TFRS, there it is. So there's an integration guide right here. And then you can watch this or go through this document. It explains exactly what all to do. It explains what is TFRS. You can kind of skip page 1 if you already know. Maybe even page 2. Oh, no, here's page 2 is where it talks about, okay, here's where you create race from account. And it goes through the whole process. It's pretty neat how it all works. And so, that goes through how to pull in participants and stuff. So that's something you can look at later. This video is focused primarily on high school cross-country meets because that's what I'm timing tomorrow. So the main thing is, okay, this race is on MileSplit. Like I said, you're going to want to create an account on MileSplit if you don't have one already. I'm assuming that's free to do. My head timer is the one who set up the account I'm using today. My assumption is it works like most any other online registration provider where you create an account, which again is free, and then you can simply email the race director saying, hey, here's my MileSplit account, and they can give you access to the event from the meet director side. From their account. So that's my assumption. If that's not the case, let's say it's last minute and it's the night before the meet and you're just now watching this video and you don't have a MileSplit account. I mean, you can create one or whatever. You may have to, worst case scenario, I'm sure this is not recommended, but if the meet director is okay with giving you their credentials, you got to get in there and get those entries somehow. So, or ask them to download them and send them to you. And so that's another option. If you do that, if you don't have a MileSplit account, of course, whenever the meet's over, you'll have to download the MileSplit file, email it to them so they can upload it. But one way or the other, you have to get the entries in. So here, the way this works, let's assume you have an account. You'll go to calendar, and you'll find the event here. And so this is the one. Now, I just opened up registration. Again, a guy just called me saying he need to put entries in. So luckily, once you have access to the meet, looks like you can, if need be. Now, of course, I always ask the meet director's permission, but, a coach emailed me saying he had to put in a ton of people. The reason why I had to have him do is because MileSplit now is going to generate a athlete ID for every participant. And so you really want these entries to be put in there instead of simply you putting them directly in the software. Because if that athlete does not have a MileSplit or an athlete ID that comes from MileSplit, then they will not be on MileSplit on the results file, I believe. So here you're going to click on the name of the event. Now there's no option here to actually download the participants as far as I'm aware. So you have to go to Meet Manager, And then here, there's two options, and this is a little confusing, so I'm going to make sure you don't do the first option. There is if you click on athletes, you'll see an option to download a CSV. That's not the one you want. That one does not contain the athlete ID that is now required for MileSplit. I've had some customers that have done this. If this is you and you've already downloaded the athlete list, and let's say you've already timed the race and you've got results and everything, but you don't have the athlete ID, which is required for the results file to be accepted, well, no big deal. I mean, it is kind of a big deal, but it's not a hard fix. You'll go to entries and re-download the participants, and then essentially you're going to go through the same process you're going to see me go through whenever I'm doing my initial import. You're going to simply drag and drop the columns in the right order, the same way you did with the athlete list, where you put the first name in the first name spot and the last name and so on. Leave bib number blank, all that stuff. But what's going to happen is when you re-import the entries, it's simply going to update the entries you already have, because it's going to match them by name. Because if you don't put there is no bib number in these files anyways, you can't put a bib number there. But so just re-import the entries using this download here on the entries page. And so here you got a bunch of different download options. These are for other systems. Now my software can work with them, but the best one to use is this download to CSV. Now I've already downloaded the file once, but this is before that other coach told me he had about 40 entries to put in. So this one now is the one I'll use. That's got every kid in it. So you'll get a file like that. So once you've done that, you can minimize this screen. And I'm using version 6.3.2, and you want to make sure you're on that version, because again, it does all the MileSplit results format that they want. And I've created a brand new blank database just for us to start with. You don't have to, but I did. So here we're going to go to create race, from file, delimited file. And then I'm going to pick this entry file here. Oops, I clicked it too slow. And then it's going to ask you what is the delimiter. In most cases, in most type of files, no matter if you're timing a road race or anything, if you're pulling in a file from another platform that doesn't have a direct integration, then it's probably going to be a comma separated file. So if you're not sure, of course you can open up the file in Excel or OpenOffice or some free program if you don't have Microsoft Office. But for me, I just go ahead and take a guess, because most of the time it's this way. It's just usually comma separated, so I hit yes, and then usually the first column is the first row is a column header. And if that's not the case, if you click yes here and you see that instead of saying last name and first name here, it actually shows someone's name, well then of course you can simply click the link here or close the screen out, bring it back up, and then the next time hit no that the first row is not a column header. And then it'll simply name these column 1, column 2, and so on, and you have to look at the data to figure out what it is. But here we are correct. It is a comma separated file, and the first row is a column header. And so we're going to go through this process of importing this file. If you want a deeper dive on how this screen works, there is a video demo right here. You can click on it. It takes you to a YouTube video that covers this screen. But I'm going to try to go through this quickly so the video is not too long. So here is what the file looks like from MileSplit. This very first column is a unique identifier for every race. So we have 4 races going on. So you'll see boys 5K, should go to girls 5K, and then junior high boys and junior high girls. And so this is unique for every race. So we're going to leave that as the race ID. That's what this represents. It doesn't have to be an ID number or anything. This is simply for every unique value, it will create a race. For every unique value in this column here. So that's a safe thing to do here with this value. You don't want to put like someone's date of birth or something that truly is unique, because if I were to do that with this file, I would have like 500 races created. That would be a big mess. So here we're going to make sure that either this is blank. Now, by the way, if this is blank, if you truly don't have a ID of any kind that is unique for every race in whatever file you're pulling in, well, leave that blank, but then drop in the other things you do know. For example, the distance and maybe the race name or whatever. The software will then combine everything from race date down to miles, and for every unique of those values, if there's nothing at all in this column, it will create a race for every unique combination of those values. So the software does the best it can to try to figure out your race setup, but MileSplit makes it easy by giving us this event name here, so that's what we're going to use. Okay, so we don't have miles in this file, so I'm going to click and do add column. Now, as I click and add or remove, you see how it's automatically resizing the columns to match the template above? That's what we're doing. We're trying to match the template. That slows it down a little bit. So for now, I'm going to uncheck that so that I can expand all the columns, which you can do by double clicking in the line here. And it's going to expand all the columns so I can see what they are. And then I can get rid of what I don't need for sure. And then I can, as I move things around, I don't have to lose, sight of what values are in each column. So here I'm going to expand some of these out, and some of them I already know I don't need. For example, all of these date of births are blank. For cross country, you don't really care about that date of birth or age. I don't really care about their seed meet. That's not something that they're sorting or doing anything with this race. So seed date, I don't care about that. So we can either drag it off to the end or just click and remove it. So I'm going to remove all the stuff I don't need. I don't really care about their seed times. So if I am curious, that's okay. Someone put that must be junior high. But anyways, so I'm going to remove those. And I do have a contact email and athlete. Okay, the athlete ID is going to go here. Notes field, I don't really need that. So I've gotten rid of enough information to see most of what I need. So let's start dragging stuff where it needs to go. So event ID, that's good. Miles we don't have, so I clicked and added a blank column there. Distance in meters, so that is what that is. So that's good there. If I sort it descending, which you click twice on, you'll see 5,000 meters. So that's good. This is not a multi-lap race, or at least MileSplit doesn't track that, so just add a blank column there. If it was a race where they're going to run through the finish line more than once, then of course when we actually create the race, you can go in and edit that later to say it's a 2-lap race and set the distance for each lap and all that stuff. But for now, for the MileSplit file, you're always going to put a blank column there. We don't have a race name exactly, but we do have this, which is like they're in junior high or senior high. That's not unique, because if we go to junior boys, it's still called simply junior high. But the software is going to allow us to change that name in a second. You'll see that. So, I'm going to leave junior high for there for now. The MileSplit file doesn't have a race date in there. Of course, I know when the race date is. It's tomorrow. So for now, I'm going to put a blank column there. We don't have bib number in the MileSplit file. So I'm going to let the software automatically assign that in a second. But we do have last name, we have first name, we have gender. There is no athlete types in cross country. Typically, I've never seen that, but I mean, typically everyone's a runner. You're not going to have a walker division or whatever in cross country. So blank column there. We don't have date of birth. Blank column. We don't have age. Blank column. We don't have street address. So you guessed it, blank column. We do have city, and we do have state. So let's do that. All right, and we don't have zip. Now we do have the coach's email from our member, so let's drag that over here. We'll just drop it roughly there. All right, and then what else do we have? Now I'm going to use this auto resize so it shrinks things down to where it matches up to make sure everything's lined up. Okay, so yep, I missed this. Okay, so that's zip. Now we got the email here. We don't have a phone number. We are not doing giveaways. That's usually for road races where you're doing like, shirt sizes for every participant. We do have their class though, which is their gender, grade, I mean. So that's there. We do have the team, so that's there. We have the team code, and MileSplit calls it team ID. We don't really have notes. I'm going to get rid of some of this. I could put the coach's name in the notes if I was curious about the coach's name. I can always double click on an athlete and there's their coach's name. But the main thing we want is this athlete ID right here. And so we'll put that there. And then we've got the announcer notes, which I'm not putting anything in. So here, we've got all these extra stuff, which we don't need. We can either leave it off to the end, it gets ignored, or we can remove it. I'm going to leave it off to the end. So here's the most important part of the whole video probably. You want to, before you import the athletes, you're going to want to sort them in a way that allows you to easily reach down and grab the bib numbers for each race, for each team. Now, what I mean by that is, if I'm preparing the coach's packet for the let's say the Searcy High School boys, then I'm going to print off a roster that says, hey, here's all your high school boys, right, for this particular school. Well, let's say that team has 24 kids in the senior boys, for that school only. Well, it's really nice to be able to reach down and grab a block of bib numbers that are all sequential and then assign it to that team. Because otherwise, if you're preparing the coach's packet and that team roster and getting all the bibs for that team, then you got to flip through and find all these random numbers, and that could take you forever. That could take a long time. So definitely don't do that. So how to do that is I will click on you want to sort things by least important to most important. And as you click on the column, by the way, it sorts it ascending or descending. So if you click on it once, it's ascending. Click on it again the second time, it sorts it descending. So the least important to the most important. So what I do is I go first name. Now this is, again, sorting all athletes by first name. And then I go last name. And then I go by team, either team ID or team, doesn't matter. And then by event. Okay? So now what's happened, if you look at some schools, let's say like the first one, I'm going to expand this out so you see it. This is BB High School. Now I wish there was a bigger one at the beginning. In fact, let's just look at Benton. Let's do Benton High School. That's a pretty big one. So Benton High School, if you look at these that I've highlighted, these are all the senior boys. And you'll see here that they are sorted in alphabetic order by last name. And then anyone that has the same last name is sorted, like is Caleb and James. Yeah, they're sorted alphabetically there too. Now that doesn't really matter that big a deal, but it just looks nicer on the roster printout that the bib numbers are in sequential order, the same as their last, the names. Again, not a big deal, but the main thing that is a big deal is that Benton High School, all their bib numbers are going to be in order. Again, that matters because whenever you are grabbing the bib numbers that belong to that team, you just grab that stack, the next X number in the stack, and so it makes it a lot easier. So yeah, that's the main bit of advice. I'm going to go ahead and import these. Now I'm going to stop the video for a second because my bibs are in another room and I don't remember what bib number I'm starting with. But I'm going to come right back and we will import these entries. Okay, so I've got my bib numbers now. It looks like they start with bib number 501. So I'm going to go ahead and hit import. And it's going to ask me, it recognizes the very first entry here as because of the race name simply has high school. But I know that the very first set of data there is going to be the boys. So I'm going to say varsity boys. All right, and then I do know that this race starts at tomorrow. And I'm going to just make a prediction. Of course, he sent me this, so it's going to be a rolling start. So usually cross-country meet, when they have scheduled starts, I mean, obviously it's all kind of fluid anyways, but usually it's every 30 minutes. So we'll say the senior boys are going to be at 5 o'clock. So really that doesn't matter, except for it will put the races in the order at which they're scheduled to start in the software. So I'm going to do varsity boys here. And then here, now this is junior high. I could scroll down and see, but I'm just going to take a guess. We can always change the name. Let's say JV boys, sure. And then here I can set the race date to be the same. And then here, JV boys, we're going to go, so they are at 4 o'clock. Okay. And then here, this is, I'm assuming, varsity girls. And then tomorrow, and varsity girls are going to be last, so that is going to be 5:30. And then finally, we have junior high. I think I did junior high boys earlier, but maybe girls. Again, I can fix it whenever. Usually it's a little more descriptive here, but I'm going to fix it whenever we pull up the participants and see. So junior high girls is going to be 4:30. Okay, so now it's going to ask me for each one of the races. It looks like this one's going to start with the varsity girls. It wants to know which race. And again, it doesn't matter here which kids get which bib numbers. So as long as on each team for each race, the numbers are sequential. And then that's what it's going to do based on the way we sorted it. I was kind of rushing through this. I may have made a mistake in calling these the wrong names, but we'll figure that out in a second. So here, since I know my starting bib number is going to be 501, I don't really care which race that goes to. So I'm going to say 501 here. And it's going to import all those participants, and then whenever it gets to the next race, now the software is going to go ahead and make a prediction. Okay, well, I'm assuming you want to start at 6:45 based on you've imported 144, and so that's good for me. I'm going to go ahead and hit yes, and then it auto increments the next number again, 731, and then finally the last race here. So now let's look at what was created and make sure that I named them correctly. So varsity girls. Do we have a bunch of boys or girls? Let's see. Yep, I named it wrong. So we'll change the name on that. So this must be varsity girls here. Yep. So let's go ahead and do varsity girls. And in fact, let me do, just to make sure I'm not getting confused, validated, and I'll take that off in a second. So that's varsity girls, and then here we know this is actually varsity boys. I usually don't get that wrong, but anyways, okay, and then we go back over here and call this simply varsity girls. All right, and then junior boys, I get that one wrong too. Okay, that one looks right, junior boys, and then junior girls. Okay, looks good. So now let's go in and now I say that I set the times wrong based on when I thought they would start. So let's check out the starting time. So varsity girls is going to be 4:30 junior varsity girls. So that is actually correct. We got the distance right. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my information in. I could actually do the meet directors, and I might actually do that. In fact, I see his name right here. So Alex. And I'll put the email in later because I don't want that to be on YouTube. But I'm going to push these events up to RunSignUp, and you'll see that in a second. In fact, I'll just put mine in here. I don't think phone number is required, but we'll leave that there. This is not required at all, but I usually go and set it. Now this is going to put in to push the meet up to RunSignUp. Now this is not required at all to push up to RunSignUp, but I do because I like to create a QR code that takes people straight to the results online that I'll be pushing up while I'm timing. Now you could also use Arrow Live Results. There's a yearly fee with that. That goes up automatically while you're timing. You don't have to push them up manually, but there with RunSignUp, or if you're to use Race Roster or Race Entry, any of the other platforms, there is no risk of their websites bogging down if hundreds of people are on at the same time. Whereas Arrow's not that way. We're working on getting it more efficient, but it's not there yet. So on super busy weekends, it can struggle. Plus, also, I think the results just look nicer on RunSignUp. And another benefit that this is debatable, of course, but I like the fact that results don't go up automatically. The reason why is because now, it's very rare that you have any issues at all, but as a timer, things happen. And what if you don't want results to go public? Because maybe you don't want parents coming over and asking you about something you're dealing with. Let's say that, let's say an entire school, the coach never gave them the tags and they just went and ran it. Now, hopefully you caught that before the start, if you walk the starting line or whatever, but, things happen. And so what if you don't want results to go up until you get that squared away? And so I like the fact that, results are kind of in my own hands and when they go out for the public to see. So, again, pros and cons with everything, but I'm going to show you in a little while how to push your event up to RunSignUp. So we'll do that, and we'll go through the process of creating the QR codes and putting the coaches pack together. I want you to see all that. But so now I'm going to go through each race, though, just to make sure it's set up right, the right distance, the right name. Obviously, it's set for track or cross country. That's just by default when you're pulling in a file that's got team names, all that stuff. The default for most cross-country races is 5 scores, 5 displacers. If you're not sure what that is, click the little question mark buttons. It goes through all that. But that's what most cross-country races are set up as. Athlete types, we don't need that. We do want to set up a division, though, because the email he sent me says that they want to recognize the top 3. So we're just going to go ahead and say overall or we could say top 3 finishers. Top 3 finishers. Something like that. And we could do male. Really, we could do just combined. I mean, we don't care. Now, obviously, this is going to be just females, but if something crazy happens and we accidentally put, a lady in at the last minute with the wrong gender, this is still going to be in the overall winners list here. That's unlikely, of course, but I'm just doing top 3. So just give me top 3. And so I don't really care about the gender, even though this is obviously an all-girls race. So here I'm going to say, 0 to 99 or whatever. And that's what we want to do there. So top 3. And I think that's all we need to do here. So we'll do the pushing up to RunSignUp in a little while. So that's the junior girls. Let's go to the junior boys. So this is for anytime you time a race, you kind of want to double check that everything's set up right. So that's what I'm doing now. Again, we don't have to do this, but I'm going to set that. That's the meet director, and I'll just put my email in for now. Because I think that's required to push it up to RunSignUp. And then I think we do have to put the address in, so I do have to look that up. Let me look up. In fact, I'll just do it here. You can see me. This meet is at Central Baptist Church, and I believe the address is here somewhere, but let me just look up Yeah, 3707 Harrisburg Road. I believe that's 72401, or is it 04? 04. Okay, so in order again to push up to run sign up, we do want to put that in. So I'll go back and do that for the junior girls race. Scoring, again, top 2, 5. I think that surely it had teams in the junior varsity girls. I hope that was the case. I mean, surely it did, but I didn't notice it. Athlete types, divisions, again, we're going to do overall. Top 3 finishers. I could say top 3 overall, doesn't matter. Just something that sounds good to you. All right, and then save. Save. Let's go back to the junior girls and put that address in. Now, once the software has seen a zip code, it automatically fills in the city and state. So just something nice. Now, let's go back and make sure the teams are in there under scoring, and they are, so everything's good there. Now, let's go to the varsity girls, and then same here. We're going to check out the address, and then varsity girls, and then Alex Berry. Okay, I don't think phone numbers required. Scoring 5 and 2. Here's all the schools. Athlete types, runner, divisions. Do top 3 finisher. Okay, and then we'll do combined again, and then 0 to 99, even though everyone's 0 years old according to the software, because we don't have a date of birth or age, which is fine. Team results still print just fine. Varsity boys, same thing. And then I'll do that again. Okay, there's that. Scoring 5 and 2, all the schools are there. Track or cross country, divisions. Top 3 finishers. None, or 100, doesn't matter. And then we'll do combined again. So give me everyone. So there's that. So now we have our events created. So the key is we've got all the participants pulled in. Let's see how many total participants. So we've got 509. Okay. So here, the next step is to create a roster for every school for every race. And so I'm going to let you watch another video. I'll probably have my phone or something to where you can actually see as I'm putting the package together. But your next step, and I don't have my printer hooked up now, but I'll do that in a second. I'm going to go to View Reports, and we're going to go to Team Roster. And you do this for every race. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this screen up. You'll see that for every race, it should be in alphabetic order, so BB. And you'll see, as I mentioned before, all these numbers in order. So now, the stack of bib numbers I have, I can reach down and grab the first 3. Boom, there they go. And then I go to page 2. Of course, I'll print these off. Now, typically what I do is I print all these off, and then I'll organize them by school so that I have 4 pieces of paper for Benton. One's for the varsity boys, one's for the varsity girls, one for the junior varsity boys and junior varsity girls. And so then I fold that piece of paper in half with the text on the outside. And inside the fold, I put the bib numbers that belong to that race for that school, and then I hold it all together with a paper clip. And then I stick all 4 of the kind of the packets for each race into a gallon Ziploc bag with the name of the school written on the outside, or what you'll see in a second, the team labels you can print off and stick on the outside of the bag. So that's kind of our end goal. And then once we've got that, we're ready for the race day, I believe. But I'm going to show you that process. So again, we're going to print off this varsity boys, and then after you print off these 16 pages, again, it's 1 for every school. You'll see that all the numbers are sequential. That's important, and also the names are sequential. That's not important, but it looks nice. And so then you're going to go to varsity girls and do the same thing. View reports, team roster, and then again, like I mentioned, Benton High School. You're going to put the varsity boys with their bibs. You're going to also get the girls and their bibs and stick them all in one bag for Benton High School. Or for Benton, right? They may have a Benton Junior High too. You want them all in one bag. That way that coach can pass out the bibs for every kid, for every race. So anyways, that's the process. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the video here, and I'm going to go and print these rosters off, and the next part of the video is going to let you see me putting everything together and creating the packets for all the races. Okay, so I have printed off the team rosters and went ahead and grabbed a bite of lunch, but now I'm ready to get back on this. I realized that before we start putting together the coaches packets, there's one more thing I'm going to create and print off. Again, this is where I'm going to push the events up to RunSignUp. Totally optional, but I like to do this so that I can have inside each coach's packet a QR code for each race that they can scan to see results. I can show that to the parents. And of course, I want to have this try to print off a few more QR codes so I can put them on random places, maybe the bathroom door or whatever, that people can scan and see the results. Again, the main thing is, keep people away from your timing tent, keep people away from having to ask you, hey, where's this, where's that? You want to provide as many options for people to see the results as possible. So the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to go ahead and go to Edit Race, and I'm going to go to Interfaces, and then I'm going to push the event up to RunSignUp. Doesn't matter which race you start with here. I'm going to log in. And it says this event part of the, so it looks like under my account there's some other races going on. I'm going to hit no. And then it's going to ask me what is the name. So really I want to copy this. This is the CBC Warrior Invitational. Maybe it won't let me copy that. So I'll just have to type it in. I don't see another way here. Let me go back a page. Going to, I'll tell you, I'll just type it in. And I wonder, actually, before I do this, let's see if it's on last year's, if I pushed up last year's. I probably did. If so, then I'll renew it. Because that way you can see last year's and this year's results from one URL. Yay, okay. So I'm going to come here and renew the race. And then we'll leave it all the same except for the race date. If it wasn't created, you'll do the exact process I almost did, which is, it would have told me if the same URL was already used. Then I would have remembered, oh yeah, go in here, renew it. And that's what I should have done, I thought of to do, because we do that all the time. Even if the race didn't use RunSignUp for registration, we'll go ahead and push the event up to RunSignUp just to have all the cool race day tools and features they offer. So there's all of the events there. And then next. Save. Alright, so now that we've created or renewed the race, we actually don't need to push this up at all. So what we can do is come in here, instead of hitting the plus button and doing what I was about to do, you can come in here and simply link to a race that's already on RunSignUp. So here, click on that, and then it's going to pull. Now, I've got a ton of races on mine, so it's going to take a little bit, but it should pull up all the races I have access to. So we'll let that come up. All right, and then I'm going to sort it here and go down and find the race that we want, 9-3, here. So if we scroll this out, I'm on the Junior Varsity Girls race. So CBC Warrior Junior Varsity Girls, check that off. And now we have linked. So it looks like there was different divisions. So it says, do you want to replace the divisions in the software with what's on RunSignUp? We're going to hit no, because I don't know what was created last year. I want to keep what I've already done. Do you want to push up these divisions to RunSignUp? Sure, let's go ahead and overwrite what's on RunSignUp with these divisions. Divisions posted RunSignUp, thank you. And then here, if we go back to Interfaces tab, now that event is linked up. So we're going to do the same process for the rest of the races. So let's go ahead and do Save Race, Junior Boys, Edit. Now, if I was doing the green plus button and push this up initially, it would have done this process where you type in the URL you want to type in or to use, and then whenever you push up the next race, you would use the green plus button again, but then it would ask you. Now, if it doesn't ask you, wait a few minutes. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time there on RunSignUp side to get it in the database or something. I don't know what it is, but for the API to be able to call it back. But you hit the green plus button, and it would say, is this event part of the CBC Warrior event? And you would hit yes. So that's what you would do. You would hit the green plus button on each one of them. In this case, though, since the events are renewed from last year, they're already all up there. I'm going to use this link button to link the race already in RunSignUp with this one here. So let's let it pull events, and yours again should be a lot faster. There they go. I'm going to sort it by date, and then scroll down, find 9-3, and then find the JV boys. Oh, wrong column. So, and the software is not going to show any event that it already has linked in. So you see the junior girls is not available here. So add the junior varsity boys. Do you want to replace the divisions in the software with the ones in RunSignUp? No. Do you want to push up the divisions here? And then this will delete any divisions on RunSignUp? Yes. That way they get the same divisions. Which basically means RunSignUp is going to have the ability to show the top 3 finishers also there. So now it'll show all finishers, but it'll have a special category just for those top 3 finishers, since that's what the race director wanted to see. So instead of printing them, I could just have them, if I wanted to, just say, oh yeah, you can pull them up on your phone. That way if he wants to call them out, he's not having to hold a print off, he can just hold his phone. Alright, there's that, so I'll double check. URL setup, so everything's good there. And then let's go to the varsity girls, edit race, interfaces, link. Sort by date, and then go down to 9-3, and we should now see no more junior varsity, we should see just the varsity. Add, and then of course I'll double check, it's there, save, and then the final race, varsity boys, edit, interfaces, link. Sort by date, go down to 9-3, and we should only have one more Central Baptist Church Warrior Invitational event to pick. Now my head timer is timing these other ones, I think, or he's timing tomorrow also, I'm not sure where, but and yeah, so there we go, there's that. And do you want to replace divisions in the software? No. Do you want to push these divisions up? Yes. Divisions posted. Okay, so now that we've got the events linked up, the next step for us to create the QR codes that take people straight to the results page is we're going to go to time race. And you'll see here what I mentioned earlier is that when you create the events, and it looks like I've got some times wrong, and we can fix that in a second. So it's going to put them in the order at which the races start. So it says JV boys at 4, junior high girls. Yeah, so I've got the boys and the girls opposite. So let me fix that first. It doesn't matter. We don't have, I could push these up the way they are, but I'm going to go ahead and, so they wanted the senior boys before the senior girls. So varsity boys, go to edit race. And then here I have a start time of 5:30. Let's move that back to 5. And then looks like the varsity girls is going to be at 5:30. Double check. Yep, girls are last. So 5:30. Oops. There we go. So now, I think when I do that, I have to, let's refresh the list of races and it'll reload everything. So now we've got all of our races in the order they should start, I believe. So if we click on any one of these in time race, then we should see boys, girls, boys, girls. And so that should be the right time. I'm going to hit continue, and it's going to put all the races. So now it's going to have the JV boys, and of course the software, since it has a different starting time than the rest of them, and it's the first one, it's going to check off just that race. And then, the next race is going to start as this. So this will be in the order at which the race is going to start. And go to action keys and do publish results. Let me do that again. There it goes, publish. And so now that's going to push up all of the athletes. Now it only is going to push up the athletes once, and the next time you hit publish, it's going to be instant. It's really fast. Now I could have also, I'm going to minimize that so that works. I could have also just come in here and hit sync and then pushed all the athletes up that way, but it'll also push them up here too. If you hit publish results, for every person not on RunSignUp, it goes through and pushes them all up and then pushes the results up for that race. So this is going to take a little while the first time. So you'll see it doing its thing here, going through each race. And I'll stop recording here for a second until it finishes, just so we don't burn in a couple minutes. Okay, so all results have been pushed up. I'm going to show you again that if you push back up a second time or any other time after that, it's all instant. So if I go publish results, it's going to go through and you'll see it fly through and confirm everyone's on RunSignUp and push their results up. So that's what's going on there. So now we have result sets that are on RunSignUp. Let's go ahead and get those. So if we go to the event page, I usually click on View Website. That's going to take us to the front page, and then here we can go to Results, and here is what we want to take people to. Now, me personally, I usually go in and kind of get rid of this stuff I don't care that they see. You don't have to. For example, if we know for sure there's no concern about like their city or their state or their country or whatever, then I'm going to hide all those just so that whenever we do. Now, with cross country, you usually don't capture chip start times, so I can hide that. Their age and age percentage and all that stuff. So you can go through each one of these and decide what you want to show or hide. But let me go ahead and save changes on that one. You'll see that, you know, when we come here, it look more professional. But because this is a cross-country race, you'll see it's got individual results and team results. So if I click there, team results as they're coming in will show up. But the main thing we want to do is we want to take them to either one or the other. And typically I just do overall results. And so we want to take them to each one of these pages. You see the junior high boys, junior high girls, and so on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on one, and then I'm going to copy this URL. Now, if you'd rather them go straight to the team results, then I think you can just copy this URL and, you know, create your QR codes based on that. But I'm going to do mine based on individual results. So I come here, I copy the URL, and then I'm going to open up a website called QR Code Monkey. And so this is a website I use because it doesn't require creating an account. It's real easy unless you put in your logo, all kinds of things. So you go to the website, and here where it's got enter content, you simply put the URL you want to show. If you got a logo, for example, I'm going to add my company logo on, and then I can put that in there. And then once you get it with the right URL and the right logo, and it's got all kinds of options to remove the background if you want to change the color, if you want this to be a different color than black. You can also do different block styles, I think, and all kinds of things. I don't usually do that. I just usually put the URL in, put my logo in, and then after that do create QR code. That's going to create something like this. Then you hit download, and I'm going to go to my downloads folder, and as it's creating it, call it whatever I want it to be called, so that way I don't have to remember what it was, because it's going to give a generic name. So this is JV Boys. Okay. And so now I'm going to come back over here and switch the race to the next one, Junior High Girls. So it's going to give me a different URL. I'm copy it, close this out, do enter content. I'm going to simply switch out the URL. It's going to create a new QR code. So I'm going to repeat this process for all of the races. So there's that one, download PNG. I'm going to go to my downloads and wait for it to be created. And this will be, of course, JV Girls. There's that. Repeat the process for 2 more races. All right. So I'm going to go back to RunSignUp, switch the drop down to the senior boys, copy, change out the URL, create QR code. Oh, my battery's running low. Download. See if I can get these done before the battery dies. I'll go get the charger as we actually create the document that we're going to put in the coaches packet that's got all these QR codes. Next URL. Oh. Create. Now that one I got to call. First boys. Download. So now we have all of our QR codes that we want to show to the public or to the coaches or the participants or whatever, because, you know, every kid's got a phone now. And the goal with this is, of course, is keep them away from your timing tent. They can look up their own results. All right, so now we got our QR codes. Now, often I'll copy these out and then put them in a folder that's named after the race. And I'm going to go get my laptop charger as I show you what I do next. And this is a final product that we'll print off and put in the coaches packet. So Let me go get my charger and I'll be right back. Okay, got my laptop charger plugged in, so let's go ahead and do something useful with those QR codes. So I'm going to open up, now you can use WordPad, that's built into Microsoft, is free and all that stuff. You can use OpenOffice, which is free also. That's what I use. I don't have Office on this computer, but of course if you've got Microsoft Office, you can use that. I'm going to use OpenOffice because I'm pretty familiar with it. Halfway familiar anyways. So here, I've done this many different ways. I've done it where I've had one QR code per sheet, and I just have like a big, junior varsity girls results, and then big QR code. Like you can see it from a long way off. But that takes a lot of paper to print, each one of those, maybe for each race, and put one in each coach packet, or just put one on the bathroom doors or whatever. And obviously the more paper you take out, the more tape you got to have to hold them up. So I think I'm going to try something different this year. I'm going to try to put all 4 on one sheet because QR codes can be pretty small and they work just fine. So I'm going to try to put all 4 on one sheet. This is the first time I tried that, so hopefully it will not take too long. So I'm going to make this a landscape view, and I want as much space as possible to be available for the QR code. So I'm going to make the margins really small. I'm going to fly through this a little bit because, again, you're watching a video, so hopefully it's pretty easy to pause and see where I'm going. So here I went to Format Page and then set the margins and the orientation landscape. So I'm going to do that. I'm ready now. I'm going to do something, again, so that I don't have to fight with trying to position things exactly perfectly. I'm going to try to create a table. And here I'm going to insert a table, and I think it's going to ask me a number of rows and columns. I think I want 4 rows because I want the name and then the QR code and another name and the QR code. So that should be right. So here I want to center every one of these. So hopefully that did them all good. And so let's do, I think the first race is junior high boys. So let's say JV boys results. And then the next race, so then we'll have a QR code here, and then let's keep the boys on the same side. So we'll do varsity boys, and then results, and then we'll say JV girls results, and then varsity girls results. All right, and then on this, let's give it a size of something kind of big so it's easier to see anyways, 24. 24, and then let's bold and underline those, and same for this one, 24, bold, underline, and so now we're ready. In fact, let's get rid of also the borders. I don't want that. Let's see, is it here? I'm not sure. I think I can do this, and there should be a table property somewhere. I've seen it before. Just one second. Table properties, borders. No border. Okay. Now the screen is going to show kind of a, I think it's called a table. Like this is just an outline. Only you see this, it won't print these little gray lines here. But what I want to do is I want to insert the QR codes that we just created. So let's go insert picture from file. And let's go to our desktop and then the race and then each one of these. So this is junior varsity boys, so we're going to do JV boys here. It's going to put it way too big, I'm sure. And so we're going to resize this. I think I discovered, I was playing with this a little bit earlier. Let's do 3.3 and see if that's, actually we'll do 2.5. And then here, we're also going to make it just a square. We don't have to. I could go a little longer. Actually, this is high. So I could go more on the width, but let's just keep them all squares and see what happens. That's junior varsity boys. Let's go varsity boys, insert. Oh, did I just click on cancel? Insert picture from file. Varsity boys. And then let's do the same, 3.25. Okay, and now let's go varsity JV girls. Insert picture from file, JV girls. and then let's go 3.25, 3.25, and then last one, insert picture from file, and this is Varsity Girls. And then okay, so for some reason this does create a second page there. I don't think there's a way I can get rid of it, but I'm just going to print page 1 of 1. So I'm going to pause the video for a second. I'm going to scan each one of these, and what we should see is as I scan it on your phone, it should take you to each one of these event pages we just went to. And so that's what we're going to confirm now. Of course, when you scan it, use the drop-down box, make sure the one highlighted is the race you just scanned. So I'm going to pause the video, so check each one of these. That's one thing you always want to do before a race is check everything you're going to provide, make sure it's working. So I'm going to pause the video as I do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I just finished scanning each one of those. They all work perfectly, and if you're testing this now, you can scan it, and what you'll see, of course, by the time you're scanning this, you'll see the actual results up, but you'll see that there's an option to show the top 3 winners. There's an option to click to team results. It's got everything you want. So, and the reason why I use RunSignUp as my results hosting thing instead of AirLive Results or some other platform, or instead of simply just pushing up to MileSplit and forgetting about them, is I like to, in fact, let's go to last year's results. You'll see that if I go 2023, I like it to where I can upload the finish line video, and it shows, like for example, if I find my daughter in here, senior girls, I can go click on video. Let me turn the, well, in fact, I think I took the audio out. I always take the audio out just to make sure there's no problems with music or anything. Oh, actually, no, this one I didn't. So here's my daughter coming in. And so I push the results up to RunSignUp for that reason. And also, when the race is over, I can go upload all the photos too. And so that's the reason why I push everything up here. It's got everything that the participants and the spectators want to see. Makes it real easy on the timer too. So anyways, that's my process for setting up the race now, digitally. Now we're going to do the actual packet preparation. And so the next video may be recorded on my phone or something. But I'm going to print these off. I'm going to print off enough copies to stick one of these. I'm probably going to fold it this way and then have it to where it's folded inside the gallon Ziploc bag. Each coach is going to get this. That way they can show it to parents or whatever. And then, of course, I'm going to print off a few other copies that I'll have posted on like the results table or bathroom doors or whatever I can, just to kind of make it easy for people to find the results. So, but yeah, right now we've done the bulk of the setup. Again, we have to do the physical side of it now, preparing the coaches packets. So you'll see that next. Okay, so the next step in this process is I lay all the races out like this. You got JV girls, and it doesn't matter the order, of course, but JV girls, JV boys, varsity girls. And then, of course, this is going to show the team name, MacArthur Junior High, MacArthur, and this looks like they don't have varsity squad, so this goes to Jonesboro and Jonesboro. So I'll take the Jonesboros, because that's before, J before M, and I'll combine these sheets of paper and basically take, I can't seem to grab one, Jonesboro and Jonesboro, stick those two, fold them in half, and then stick them in the pile. And so this is all the Cedar Ridge squads. So all the races here, all their rosters. And so then I'll go through now. This looks like I still don't have. So anyways, then I'll do MacArthur or whatever the next school is. So I'm just grouping all of the, for one school, all of the rosters together. And then I've also printed off now the software can print off a label sheet. It looks like I'd used some already, so you can tell it where to start. And so this is all the names of the schools. And I will take these and stick them on the outside of the bag. So I'll take some Ziploc bags, and then I will put the rosters with, I'll stick this on, label for the school on the outside here, or you can just take a pen and write it, or they can just, if you fold this on the outside where the team name is sticking out, they can see it from the piece of paper. I'm also going to fold one of these in half, right down the middle here. And so inside here, they'll also see that QR code sticking out. And then my head timer also created these little documents that kind of outline how to wear the tags. This is something that it's on my resources page on my website, agracedummy.com/resources. You'll see a shoe tag guide there. I think we put the Word version of that on the website, so that way you can download that, change it to be anything you want, but we usually fold that in half and also put that in with the coach's bag. So in the coach's bag, again, we just take a gallon Ziploc bag with the team name on the outside. They're going to have, we'll take these out one roster at a time after I fold them all up. We'll take these, we'll grab the bib numbers that belong to this race and fold them up inside here. And then we'll take all of those, stick them in here, so they'll have 4 separate groups, for each race, depending how many squads I brought, of course. And then we'll stick one of these and one of those in there, plus safety pins for however many they need for their race. So that is our process, and you'll see it whenever it's completed here in a second. Alright, the truck is packed and ready for tomorrow. I got all the expensive electronics in the in-bed trunk here that locks. But then the bibs and tags that we've been working on, they're all right here. So every school has got their own bag. So Valley View Junior High, and then of course it's got all the rosters and the bibs for that. And every bag has also got safety pins at the bottom of it. That's only got one person. But anyways, usually I put those inside of a small sandwich-sized bag, but I just threw them in the bag. We'll see how that goes. Extra safety pins here. Got our bib number capture sheet there with a pin on it. But yeah, everything's ready to go for tomorrow. I'm going to throw in some luxury features now and focus on those. Like I may try to do the quick results TV feature on a large LED board. That way when people finish, kind of like the Olympics, where someone sets a world record and they kneel next to it, and it's got their performance. So I may see how that's going to work. I'm going to test that out tonight. Worst case, if it doesn't look good, I'll just use it for instant team results, showing each person's name and time as they finish, and then live team scores on the right of that. But that's the end result of 500 something kids. I don't know, 20 or so teams or more. So it gets in that bag there, ready to pass that tomorrow. So that is our bib prep. So next video will be probably tomorrow, maybe as I'm setting up or while the race is going on. So I think it'd be a good idea to talk about kind of the best practices when timing a cross-country race. Again, just like everything else, there's different ways you can do it, but I'm going to show you the reason why I do things the way I do when it comes to timing the race. So when you click on any race, it doesn't matter which one you click on, and you click on time race, it's going to give the option to pull in one or all the races. Now, of course, the temptation might be if, like today's race, they're going to time one race, and then before they start the next one, they're going to make sure that one's done. But you know how it is. Sometimes you get some kid that may be purposely being defiant and just walking as slow as they can. Maybe they didn't want to run cross country, and the parents make them. Who knows what the deal is? Maybe they're being punished for some other sport, and they're forced to run cross country. Who knows what? But the point is, I like to pull all races in, and there's a few reasons why. So, number one, when you pull all races in, you'll see all the list of races on the left. Let me close this out. I'm not going to send the texting capability. So this is just saying, hey, it's race day. Would you like to turn on the texting? Which I don't have their phone numbers, so we're going to hit no. But the point is, this is going to pull in all the races into the timing screen. Now, there's benefits with that. Number one, let's say that the weather starts to look bad and the coach decides, let's just run the JV girls and boys together. Well, no problem. If it's a last-minute decision, I can just simply check that off, give them the thumbs up, I'm ready to go, and then I can click this button or hit the space bar, and it starts both races at the same time. Now, I'm going to reset this race back to 0. And I purposely made this where you have to click around a few times because, this would wipe away all results if you don't know what you're doing. But, so anyways, you've got the boys race going. And let's say that, so one benefit with having all the races in is whenever you click on start listening, which I don't have my readers attached now, but, after the boys take off, and then I can click on start listening. And once you click start listening and you get the reader where it says connected, which there are ways you can test this before the start of the race, but to make sure everything's good and perfect. Shouldn't have any problems with the reader, but it's always nice to have that peace of mind. But once you get it start listening, well, if you have all the races pulled into the clock screen, well, now when this race is over, you don't have to do anything different except for start the girls race. So you can either start it here in the software if it's within line of sight, or of course you can walk over with a stopwatch or a wristwatch or anything that captures a starting time. And let's say that you walk over to the starting line, you make your announcements, and even if the starting line or finish line are right there together, usually I just use my phone or a wristwatch or something, and I'll start the race, and then I'll come over here to the software and start it, and then I'll go to edit time and simply match up the clock time with whatever my stopwatch shows. So let's say I'm at 1:05 40 something. Now, of course, your stopwatch is continuously running, so this watch is too. So if you get it to where it's matching, let's say now these times are in sync with my phone or stopwatch, then you can hit save, and now that time is accurate. And so the beauty of it is you don't have to close out the screen, bring it back up, restart listening, hope your readers connect, time that race, close it out, you know what I'm saying, and go back and forth, and then each time reconnect your readers. So I like having my reader continuously reading. Now, if you have a starting line that is right next to the finish line, or let's say they're going to run past the finish line as they're starting or something, and you may want to not pick those participants up. Well, what you can do is simply, like I mentioned before, start the watch with your stopwatch, leave the race not started until after they run by, and then start the race. That way, because the software is going to ignore any tag it sees belongs to a race that hasn't been started yet. And so if a varsity boy is running by, or if they're standing at the finish line cheering on their friends, the younger brother or younger sister or whatever, if they're wearing tags, the software knows to ignore those tags if you have that race pulled into the clock screen. So that's one of the benefits of pulling all the races in, is the software knows which participants to ignore and which participants to allow. And again, it also allows you to start the races whenever you want. It also allows you, let's say you're timing the JV girls race, and if a JV boy comes in later, well, then you have this race pulled in. It's no big deal. It picks him up too, even though you're timing JV girls at the same time. If let's say that that the JV's boy, the very final JV boy just came in, and there's nobody else coming in, you could also do finish race, and this right here is going to stop the clock. Now, the only benefit that really gives you is that if a coach walks up, or let's say a boy who grabbed his tag but never ran, if a coach walks up with a bunch of tags from this race, he's going to return, and maybe these are tags for kids that were registered for his team but never ran. So these are tags still attached to the bib or whatever. Well, if you finish the race, the software knows to ignore those tags. Now, obviously, if you don't already know, when someone does finish the race, the software knows they're finished, and it also ignores their tags from that point forward. So there's no problem with a boy still wearing his tag from the JV race. Maybe he's cooling down near your finish line. He won't trigger another read, so there's no issues. Now, if you pulled in only one race at a time, well, then the software, if it picks up a previous finisher, well, the software assumes, like, okay, I only know about the race you pulled in, so it will show it as a red unassigned time, because for all the software knows, that is a bib that could have maybe belonged to the race, but the participant simply has been added, so it captures the time just in case. Now, any red unassigned times, like if I hit the space bar, you'll see what it looks like. For example, if I type in bib number 1050, which I know doesn't exist, that's what it's going to look like. These are ignored when you print results, but still, if a coach walks over with a bunch of times, a bunch of tags, or if a whole bunch of kids run by while you're timing another race, you see a bunch of red unassigned times, it can be unnerving. It can be, something you kind of have to make sure, like, wait, is that legit? Are these kids that I need to put in the race or not? And so for me personally, I like to have all races pulled in, and not worry about, let the software determine who should be picked up or not. One other benefit with having all the races pulled in, I just thought of this, is let's say that a coach walks over and says, hey, this kid here, I'm going to bump him up to varsity boys. Well, with all the races pulled in, you can right-click on them and do change race, and then change them to the varsity boys. And so that's another benefit with having all the races in. So if you were to remove the race from the screen, that kind of puts you back into some of the problems before, where if a JV boys race, the tags from that race were returned, or some kids are still wearing the tags ran by, they would show up as unassigned. So for me, I would finish the race, which is optional. I guess, again, if I knew 100% sure that all the kids were in, I would maybe do finish race. You do not want to do reset race, because that would lose all results. So for example, if I undo finish, you'll see the clock go back like it never was finished to begin with. So now it's at 5 minutes. So let's say 7:31. And then, so I've got that finisher. If I were to reset the race, I guess before that, let's try to entering another time, 7:32. Now I'm hitting the space bar, and the software is not going to take it, because it says, well, that race is finished. The same way, if a tag from that race is picked up later when the race is done, it's going to ignore it. But if you accidentally, which, God forbid you do this after real results are done, you should not hit reset race, because that clears the clock and then wipes away all results for that race. So this is something you would do the reset race if you're testing, like, before a race day, and you want to just practice pushing results up, which we can easily do, and then just click the clear or the delete link to delete them from RunSignUp if that's where you've got results posted. But so I do encourage you to test as much as possible. Start the race, get your readers going, scan some tags, make sure everything looks good. Pull up team results in the software, make sure they look right. Make sure everything's set up correctly. And so the reset race is good to do before the race when you're just playing around, but after you get done actually timing, you do not want to hit finish race and then reset. You want to just do finish race and leave it that way. There's no real benefit with removing from the clock screen. When you're done timing all events, you can print your results and simply close out the clock screen. That'll disconnect your readers, and nothing will continue to run in the background. Even if you did not do finish race, you just left your clocks running, if you pull the screen back up, for example, let's go start, and you'll see here I'm going to close the screen out with 2 seconds, 3, 4, 5. If I click on time race again, it's going to come right back up just like I never closed it out. So the clock is still going to match your stopwatch or whatever you have. And that's even if you were to restart the computer. It comes right back right where it should be. But just so you know, if you close the clock screen out, nothing continues to run in the background. So you're perfectly fine. When you're done timing, just close it out. The final thing I guess I'll cover is printing results. So the software, when you're timing like a road race, it does have these handy printing features where you can go print results, and then you can do division results. And now for a road race, I would typically do not bottom fill, and what that means is put everyone somewhere. So even if like a male 40 to 45 is only going to give away, that age division is only going to give away top 3 awards, well, the bottom fill is going to put everybody 40 to 45 as long as they're not an overall award winner. Now that's something you can override in the software if you do want double dipping there. But most races, you got your overall winners and you got your division winners, and that's really all you need to print off. Is just whatever they need to call out for the awards. And so for division results, for road races, I'll uncheck this and print division results, send it straight to the printer. Well, for team results is actually a 3-part results. So let me see if I can find an old database, and I may not have one, so bear with me for a second. Okay, so I didn't have any databases on this computer that had results for former cross-country meets. So I just went in here, and for the, I think, junior girls, no, was it varsity girls maybe? Yeah, so for the varsity girls, I put in just a handful of some times in here, just dummy times. If you go to View Reports and then Team Results, you'll see that the Team Results page is actually a 3-part report. And so page 1 is going to be just team results and nothing else. So as more finishers come in, of course, you'll see more teams that qualified and are ranked over here. And then any teams that didn't have enough finishers to qualify over here. Now, obviously, there are settings in the software where you can do ghost runners and all kinds of things. But so section 1, though, is just the team results. And typically, this is all you need to print. Page 2 is a breakout by team, so this would be the first place team and then how all of their team members, just the scoring and displacing members. And then so if you had multiple, obviously more schools finishing, you would see all the schools and their scores or displacers. So that's section 2, and then section 3 is simply overall results with each person's score and everyone in order. Whether they scored or not, they're going to be in here. And so the problem is when you use the quick print features on the timing screen, which let me pull in just the varsity girls just for this example. So if you use the quick print features, that's going to print all 3 sections. And really, you probably want just page 1. So this is something that I hadn't, maybe I need to add an option here where it says just page 1. I'm not sure. But right now, instead of printing from here, I will actually minimize the clock and then pull up whatever race I want to print and then go to View Reports and then Team Results and then hit print and then just do page 1. So that's just what I personally do. Again, you could use the quick print, but you get all 3 sections, which is kind of a waste of paper, unless you want to post those somewhere for people to look at. It is a nice looking report, but anyways, there's that. So that's how to print results. That's essentially taking you through the whole thing. A couple small things, which again, this is in other videos about how to use the software, but just common things you'll use. If you're curious how many's left on the course, you can click on any race. Let me pull all the races back in, and you'll see. So if I go to time race, pull them all in. So this is your normal look here. you can go to any race that's going and go to award status, and this will let you know for like a road race, for example, if everything is green, that means enough finishers have claimed, or sorry, enough people have come in to claim all the awards. So if I undo this one, you'll see that the award status is going to have okay, so I have to check and see what's going on with this race here. Oh, junior girls, that's why I don't have finishers. So it's actually the varsity girls that have finishers. Let's say it should be highlighted, so let me minimize these down. You can click on the clock to expand or minimize the menus. So if I go to award status on this one, now it looks like I mistakenly set this for 25. I need to set that down to 3. I think that was a copy from last year's. But the point is, if you go in award status, tells you when enough finishers have claimed all the awards that have been allocated for the race, and also tells you how many are finishers versus, if you've had to DQ anyone, and how many is on the course. So there's that, and then the main thing you'll use besides that is the quick results. If you have a parent or a child walk over and say, hey, can you tell me how I did, you can just type in any part of their either bib number or their name. And so if I type in a name, let's say just the letter B, it's going to search anybody with a B in the first name or last name. And so now obviously you're not going to do that. You could do like AG, which I know my kids are in this race. So I can say, all right, well, like double click, and then there's their results. Now Aaron hasn't finished yet, so let me try someone else. KNIDFG, not. So I see a Catherine here, so I double click, and then there's a result. So the idea with this on the right is for you to be able to quickly get people out of your timing tent, because it's just inevitable. People are going to walk over and ask, hey, how'd I do, or whatever. Even if you've got a million things showing results, and even if you're doing texting results, all that stuff, it's just going to happen every now and then where someone walks over and asks, hey, did I win my division, or what was my time, whatever. Usually you show them this, they whip out their phone, they say thank you and walk away. So besides that, there's all kinds of shortcuts to do all kinds of things in here. So for example, cross country, it's going to highlight anyone that's a close finish, in yellow. And so if you see the system got 2 people backwards, which can happen if they're side by side, the RFID system could pick up someone slightly out of order. It usually never happens if it's more than a half a second gap between people, but you can right click and do swap bib numbers, and that will swap those 2 people. So all kinds of features in here. So hopefully that's a good run through of how to time a cross country meet and why to pull all the races in. The next video, I guess, will be showing the setup at the finish line. Okay, so we're here at the cross country meet. I do have my LED board set up. It's hard to see here in the phone, but it does say varsity boys at the top, and the time, that's the running time now. And I've got it in much bigger font. As people are finishing, it scrolls through here, and then live team results there. I kind of use the boxes to kind of block off this area. Got the camera automatically taking pictures. It's triggering based on the manual backup system. I've got one of the parents sitting over here next to me during when people are coming in. Obviously the chip system is there reading on the left. I've got both computers simply powered through that Blue Eddy down there at the bottom. This other Blue Eddy is just a backup in case I need it for either one of the timing systems, either the laptops there or the Blue Eddy that's in there. My generator, for some reason, the little receptacle on it keeps tripping if I do anything more than the LED board, which a much smaller generator fires that thing or runs that no problem, but this big generator, the little receptacle keeps flipping. So I've got the whole finish line run off just the battery backup, which is fine. I've had it on for a few hours and it's at 71% still. So, and of course, even if that dies, the UPS battery backup will keep the reader powered on for about 3 hours. So not worried about power there. So all this is disconnected from anything but the laptops. Feeding the, this is a black box timing mat. I have just one panel antenna here and one here. I've got a tag in each, one each side of the shoe. If I was concerned about reads, which we haven't had a single miss, I'd put an antenna on the other side, but this has been perfectly fine with all my races. So obviously I have a second redundant read zone here. This antenna reads out a little bit wide, just like all antennas do. So of course it's gonna pick them up right on the line. Got a camcorder over there recording everything. Obviously the LED clock there. Up at the pavilion, I've got 2 TVs doing live results. I got one TV that says junior girls, junior boys on one side, and the other TV says senior girls, senior boys on the other one. So I kind of have a split screen on that. I'll record another video with that going on. So, but anyways, everything's been going perfect. I kind of have a little makeshift wall with extension cords to kind of people out of here. So, but anyways, that is my finish line setup. Oh, and one more thing.
is I have the, because I don't trust that generator, I have the printer plugged up over there, so I'm simply bringing a jump drive up to a laptop that's running the live results. I plug it in, load the results, and print it off there. There's plenty of time as you're waiting for the last couple of finishers to bring it up and print results. So that's what I did. In fact, here's the printed results. So JV girls. Nothing yet. No one's gonna come for a while. So there's the results so far. But anyways, everything's going perfect. Yes, I know. They gotta do 2 laps. My daughter here is the official starter. We're using this little electronic starter. And so I say, on your mark, get set, go, with a PA system I brought over there. You see my flags there. And then whenever I say go, she fires the button and they take off. So she's enjoying it. But anyways, that is our cross-country meet. Everything's going perfect. So, but you can look at the results on RunSignUp and watch the finish line video there, and of course see the photos there. But the only thing that's not going perfect is they tried to mow the course right after a rain, and so some parts of it are really rough. But nothing we can do about that. Okay, so I just made it up here to the awning. I usually don't do this, but I went ahead and tried to do like dual displays where you've got the junior boys on this side, all their times and names, and on the right side you've got live scrolling results of the junior girls. And so I had a lot of parents hanging out here watching those, and then on this side we had the senior boys and the senior girls. So during the race, of course, I was pressing F9 or clicking the link that says publish results, and these are updating automatically. So yeah, that's the senior girls. So here I just have a tripod, which you can buy these on Amazon for, well, I don't want to say cheap, but like $90 to $120 or so. And that comes with a little bracket back here and just an HDMI connection to a laptop. That one is down there at the lid closed. And then this laptop, both of them, the TVs are on the battery side, of course, so that if we lose power, that should keep the TVs going for a while. Obviously the laptop there is powering that TV, and also that's when I'm running up here and plugging the jump drive in on the side, pulling it up, printing the results, and that's what I was using for that. So again, I didn't trust my generator to run this printer. Printers use a lot of power. So and I had a father, and I think they tore them all down. I had one of the dads. I had those QR code sheets, which you saw in the earlier part of the video, and he taped them up in random places that people might want to, the parents would notice, where they can scan the QR code and see their results. So, but yeah, successful race. Didn't have, I can't think of a single glitch, single problem of any kind. As for context, I showed up at 12:30, I think. I had everything set up mostly by 1:30, but definitely by 2. I did set up some of the other luxury things. I did find that the church has Wi-Fi here, but I had to get it from their IT guy. They have a special Wi-Fi network just for events out here. So instead of leaving a phone for a hotspot, I wanted to go ahead and connect to his Wi-Fi. So the pushing results up there was on their Wi-Fi instead of my phone. It's very possible that my phone, maybe put in the middle, could have provided internet for both. But anyways, but that is the whole setup. Hope you enjoyed the video.